Welcome everyone to page 795, geometry content, but certainly talking about probability and the mathematics behind it. On page 795, we're continuing to explore the use of and in this lesson, and what is a probability lesson without some amount of considering a coin flip. Ooh, heads. Okay, so heads I win, tails you lose. Sorry, that's the way the game is played. What we need to consider here is how likely is it something can happen, and we'll explore that with, here we go, 3 heads. So boom, I flipped them. You saw me do that right now. Lucky, lucky. Or is it really? Gotta pause and answer that. What really is luck then? If everything is all about the odds of something happening, the condition, the probability of here. Suppose you flip 3 coins and record the results of each flip. What is the probability that all 3 coins land head up? So I have the first coin, the second coin, and the third coin. It is nice to know, like, fill in the blanks, that we should have 3 numbers that we're timesing. And means times. All right, so there we go. My first coin, flipped it, got heads. Second coin, flipped it, got heads. My third coin, flipped it, and got heads. There's only 2 possible outcomes. No, edge is not an option. So if there's only 2 possible outcomes, then the first coin flipping heads would be 1 out of 2 possible outcomes. The second coin flipping heads would be 1 out of 2 possible outcomes, and the third coin flipping heads would also be 1 out of 2 possible outcomes. So multiply fractions, the easiest math in the world outside of just not multiplying fractions, but just multiplying numbers. Multiply straight across. 1 times 1 times 1. On the bottom, the denominators, 2 times 2 times 2, or 2 to the third power, 2 to the third 8. There is a 1 out of 8 chance that taking 3 coins and flipping them, and then after you flip them, getting heads, I'm cheesing it, I know, getting heads on all 3 of them, 1 out of 8 ways can that happen. Likely you're gonna flip at least a tails, or at least like some difference between the 3 coins. With that being set aside, let's consider some different scenarios. Maybe, hey, how lucky is it to actually flip all heads? You should be, considering your chances of winning some serious money from like the lottery, right? If you can get 3 heads in a row. What about 2 heads and a tail? Okay. First coin flip is heads, and that's the upside down symbol. This is vocabulary for us that comes in the form of notation. That symbol means and it's the multiply symbol in probability. So heads and tails. That's the arrangement of the coins being flipped. And this time around, it looks exactly like that. Well, what do we do for probability? We go probability of heads, probability of heads, probability of tails. Oh, nothing's wrong, but did you realize they're the exact same probability as before? This is no more amazing or less likely than flipping all heads. But they're different. Because they're different, shouldn't there be like a better probability of that happening? No, it's down to the numbers. There is a 1 out of 2 chance heads. There's a 1 out of 2 chance heads. And there's a 1 out of 2 chance tails. Same probability. Same final result when we compound those probabilities. Okay, fine. What if it's not about like getting that specific arrangement? What is the probability of only the second coin landing tails? Yeah, tails. I had to check that for a second there, and I had to check my notation. I wrote heads in the pre-write before I showed you the video starting. Okay, well, guess what? It doesn't matter what the first coin flip is. But you're definitely flipping the coin. And since you're definitely flipping the coin, you're going to get an outcome. And we could say both of those outcomes are likely. 100%, 1 out of 1. You flipped it. The second coin flip, what's the probability of it being tails? We just had that conversation. It's 1 out of 2. So, there's the second coin flip. It's tails. And then the last one, we don't care what the third coin flip is, but you're definitely flipping it. And because you're definitely flipping it, whatever it shows up is the probability that it is. You're definitely flipping it. So 1. What is 1 times a half times 1? I mean, multiplying by 1 isn't really actually changing the result. So there's, first coin and second coin set aside, the third coin is the only one or the middle coin is the only one that matters. Because the middle coin is the one that has the parameter restricted to it that these two coins, it doesn't matter what coin flip they have, whether or not they're heads or tails. So their probability just is 100%. 100% guarantee you're going to flip that coin. Now, if that's the case, 1/2 is the final answer. And in the last part of this, what's the probability of flipping heads on the first coin and tails on the third? This is the flip, the reverse. I'm gonna highlight those outcomes just so I don't lose them. Heads on the first, tails on the third. Okay, here it is. Boom, heads. Then who cares, whatever. And then tails on the last one. So it might look like that for the arrangement. So heads, who cares, tails. Well, the first one, probability of heads, is 1 out of 2. The probability of just flipping the coin, you only have 2 outcomes. So maybe I should have wrote 2 out of 2 instead of 1. But 2 out of 2 is 1. That's what those ones up there represent. 2 out of 2. You have 2 choices that could be out of 2 possible outcomes that it could be. So 1. And then last of all, tails, 1/2. When you multiply fractions, multiply straight across. So the 1 in the middle, we're just going to times a 1 in there somewhere. We'd have 1 times 1 times 1. And on the denominator, 2 times 1 times 2. There's a 1 in 4 chance you could take these 3 coins and arrange them specifically like that. Or like that. Or like that. It's the same probability because the middle coin doesn't matter, but it's definitely not that. We didn't say start with tails, we said start with heads. You guys, 795 has been good. It's been awesome. Thank you for watching. I'm going to guess that the next page, in fact, let's go ahead and sneak a peek at what page 796 has in store. Oh, we're going to analyze whether or not Derek or Serena think they are right. With 50 coin flips, stick around for that video. Page 796 is next. See you in the next episode. Like, comment, and subscribe.